the one shape will be changed, yeah, here. This, so I have to use the right value to show as a 0.5 like this. And when you change the value, only one value, your drawing shape will be changed. For me, I don't have expert on custom paint, because if you custom your image by yourself, and or predict the direction point of each component of your image, it spend much time. But I can create it only one, and at least than 1 minute, just use the Flutter shape maker. Um, so I move to the next slide. So previously I also mentioned some coding, some widget that important to get started, and or the structure of um, some structure that. So now I want to get started with the demo coding and explore the tutorial. As I mentioned, the time have limit, so I cannot create the whole project start with the from scratch. So I choose the one tutorial from CodeLab, Google, to coding and demo with you. So any question you can ask me before we start the demo on project. So if it don't have any question, I will move to the demo. For this section, I will demo you how to create this UI. Uh, it's it's appear with a small animated UI and response UI. So let me switch and that. So this course was created by this lecture that post on Collab. After I demo and try the code and run this small project, I will show some existing on my project that I start working in 2020. Um, that's a large project, the large structure. So now I want to show you about the small project first, to make you easy to understand the whole project. So the output, we will this UI, and you see it when we resize the browser into like a screen, mobile screen. The UI will change to mobile experience. When we scale it bigger, like a desktop or tablet, it will show you that desktop experience or web experience. So the first, you need to have a Flutter environment. If you want to try, or I think you should to try it, maybe makes you more excited to get started with the Flutter, because it's useful. You can be any platform that you want, and you can call the native code as you want. It's open for you. So if you want to know more about Flutter, you should install this environment. So now to get started, they mention us to create with a empty application. It means we can I go to example and delete my existing projects because I already try here. I will delete it. Yeah, I will start create new one. So now I open my terminal and go to the directory. Yes. Now you can see they mention us to create a Flutter project name animated response layout. We can Flutter create. I think it's small. I will make it bigger. I think Flutter create and you press name project. If you enter with this command, it will show the default UI, example UI for the Flutter project. I want to show you it. I don't use the dash in T. This one, if I create, it's the layout will show you only hello world. But I want you to know the default project. Yes, now enter. Okay, now I need to go to directory project animated response layouts. So now I want to open IDE. The visual code is faster than Android Studio, but mostly I use Android Studio for work because it's more powerful and it have useful plugin for you. Because as you know, as a programmer or researcher that we write the code, we don't memorize all the function or the code. Some some function we forgot how what the full name, but we remember the first name of the function, so it auto suggests you. Yeah, now let's move to the demo. Here is the Flutter demo that I want you to know. When I don't use the dash int, it will create the example UI for you with counter UI. I will run it with web. If you use the MacBook, you can also run with the Mac OS or iOS simulator. If you use the Windows, you can select the Windows application or Android emulator. So now I want to choose the web. It's more faster. Here is an example of the Flutter project when you create first, and I will delete it later. And any question or if you don't understand well for my presentation, you can ask me or I will explain you. Here is a example application when you create the Flutter project without a dash mt. So you can play around with the sample application. Now let's move to tutorial website in the collab. Here they tell us go to the directory the project and run the Flutter run. You can also run the project with the command line. But when you use the IDE will have the built-in button run for you. And here, if I run the command line follow this dash empty, the output will is hello world. But I want to show you the full UI sample Flutter when we create the projects. So I click next. Now we add the step 4 king. So in this example project, we need this asset image to display in the UI. So they give us to create a folder asset. So let's go to the command line. Here now we add the project and I will create the asset folder here. When you create the asset folder, you need to tell the project you have some asset folder that you want to call a file image or file font to use in the project. So here you need to uncomment it. But in this configuration, you need to be careful with the space. If you put in like this, it cannot use the asset folder. You have to you have to one tab for this line, and the second line, you have to add double tab. And now here's the name of folder asset that you want to use resource image or font that you add into the project asset. When I add like this, it means I call all the asset into the Flutter code and can call and use. But let me download and copy this command. This command just download all the image into the asset folder. So I need to go to the folder asset and download the image. Okay, some file is coming. Now they have avatar one PNG. It means if I add avatar underscore one dot PNG, so in the whole project can use only this file. If I want to use the another file, I need to add like this. Number two and get I need to run a Flutter pubget to update project. So if I write this, I can use only these two files in the project. For the other file, I can use. So if you want to use all the file in your asset folder, you need to write like this one. It means you can call every file in the asset folder. So now we already have the image resource and we already add the asset. So now we start next. Here they mention you to write this all, but I want you to know I write only this. It will work or not here. And they suggest us to add every single file in the pubspec.yaml. Now we need to create a model to handle the structure of data like adjacent data or object data that you need to render into the UI. You need the model structure. I for this I will we can write it by ourselves, but it take more time, so I will copy it. It's faster, and I will explain you later. So now for this tutorial, they suggest us to create a model.dat file in the folder model. Um, that is they start to create a simple pattern for you. Model folder, and I have to create a model. Oh, I see. I forgot S. That's fine. You can create any to follow the structure of tutorial, and we don't have any error. But let's see. I want to get some error on code. Here is the structure of project. Here is like code from tutorial. Now I example some code. Some model. Let's call a class and use that model. The name, you can use any name. You can use without the model word, or but it's more easy you understand and remember is when you call in the another file. You will model structure. Normally, the user have ID like integer ID. If I add like this, let's see, it's the first version of Flutter without null safety, and I want to add a string name. So now we have two fields in the object user, and when we want to insert data into the, need to use this one called the parameter here. When we add like uh it cannot now, it means it must be have any data. If you insert the null value, it will show the error unsupported type value. So we need to tell add the value question mark to make it nullable. So now we can call the we can insert the data with any nullable type of data. You can add number one or null or something. So this have error also because the value of null, so it's cannot optional, it's required. So it's you require the user must be input the name. You have to add the require before this dot name. So when we call the folder, the model will require the name. You cannot not skip this field. But when you add like this, the ID you can skip. You can add null value. And for the getting data JSON from the API into the model, you can create a factory function. Uh, you can call it dot from JSON, and you can create a JSON value that you want to pass in, but the JSON must be type string dynamic. It means you can input any type of JSON. This JSON must be have any type, uh, like dynamic data come from the API that you receive, or list of integer, you need to define the type. And now we need to return the model user here. See, when you add the require, the model is required name input. You cannot skip this field, but you can skip the ID field. It because it's optional, nullable. Yeah, nullable. Yeah, this require field. So if you want to prevent the missing data that you require, you can do like this, require and without question mark. So when you call the model, you need to input any name like Thong something. But for the ID, you can also call it and you can add the null value. It accepts it. Or you don't need to write the ID input. Here's the example model. And for the our exploring tutorial, this small project, we will use all this model. This model, why you see what the difference? We also have the field, the same model that has parameter require the same, but this model doesn't have a factory mapping. For this function, for mapping JSON from API or somewhere. So we need this function to convert from API from JSON into the model type. For this, they don't have because this tutorial doesn't use any data from API. So now move to the next. I hope you understand the model, the class model, and why we have a factory function and why we don't have. And now here's sample data that we will use in this project. I will copy it. And they tell us to create another file data.dat in the model folder. So now I go to model folder and I create new data.dat. I pass it. And now you see the error that I want I speak it previously. I want you to see the error when I create the model in the file model without s, and the same example code they have the model as, so I can remove it and it rename the file. It also will fine. It's just a directory of file. It's all name of file. So now here is a data static data that you will use. So move to the next. This now we start to create a widget that you will see. Here is a stateless widget. For the stateless widget, mostly just for create any component of UI. If you have uh, more than two components in one layout, you should be create a extend stateless widget, add other file, and then call it into your layout file. So now they tell us to create email list widgets. So I copy the code of widget and create the folder widgets and name email underscore view. So now I want to create a widgets without s. Let let's see. I don't follow the instruction, but let's see how it's work. And email list that, and we pass the UI. And now the model, we have model as folder, but we don't have this, so I delete it. And in this we missing two more widgets, the widget, email widget and search bar widget. So let's see in the tutorial. Here's the email widget that we missing. So let's copy it. It's a lot because it's just a component of UI. I will explain you after pass the code. Uh, email widget, email widget dot. Yes, here I need to update this, and now we still missing the another widget. And now here, no more error for this line, and we have another error because we not yet create the search bar widget. So for this widget, I want to explain you. It is a stateful widget. That means we can pass any value, and before you build the UI of your component, you can add any function or property that you want to custom uh, here, and the widget will build. Here is the UI that the widget show will run here. So let's see the next. I missing the star button and the search bar. So next we need to create the file search bar. Here go for search. I think maybe it's make you for a little bit boring because this demonstration I only copy the code and explain it to you. I will walk through file by file in this project later after we finish the copy, because if I write it spend much time. So I need to create a search bar. So that here is the search bar that, and this error you maybe know because the model file doesn't have s. And now the error is gone because now we have a search bar file, and here is a search bar widget that we create. The search bar widget is only the UI like this. Here, the search bar has a profile icon. I will explain you in detail after finish this. And now we missing the star button, and, and let's see the star button in the widget also. Okay, the star button is a stateful widget. Here you can see in the stateful widget because we need to update the state UI to enable check or uncheck the star. Let's see, I will create a new one. Star star button dot. Here. Here you see this widget use the stateful widget because we want to update the star when we click it. it show a field UI. When we click it again, it show the round star UI. It like you add a favorite or unfavorite. So this function, they use set state that I mentioned before. The set state also called the pattern of project too, because when we use the set state, we also can update the value like this. The example for this code, uh, the demonstration layout here doesn't change yet because I'm not rerun or hard reloaded. So it's keep the old code here. Here is called the set state too. When you click the button, the function where we call the set state and refresh and deliver to show a new value. So you see the error now is gone. And next, now we start build the UI because we already have the data that we want to use and the structure data that we want to handle the data and render into the UI. And we also have side component. I will explain you in detail more after this. Now I have to update the main file here. Here is a example file, and I want to delete here. This I format it and clear more space. Yes. So now we have to update the main file. They use the library material. It's default from the Flutter framework, and they will use some widget and model from the code that we already created. And for the Flutter, when we run the when we run the application, they will go to the lib folder and find the main file. And main file is the root of project. And when it's run into the main file, it will call this function. And we will tell it to run which function that we want to get start first. So here's a stateless widget because this layout I don't need to update any data. I just want to tell the project build the UI for the material UI. It is mean the Android UI component. Yeah. When if you want to render your UI like a IIS, you can call a Cupertino material. No material. And or Cupertino. Yeah, like this, but I forgot. As I tell you, the VS Code doesn't show any suggestion for you. That's why I always use the Android Studio. My memory is not good also, but I think most the programmer not memorize everything. So this call my app to get start and tell the application to draw the UI for the material app. This will display as a material 3. The previous version, material 3 is material 2 that you know here. Here's a layout for material 2, and this layout component is adjustment updates the UI. That's called the Material 3. It's a new version of Android layout UI. And now I want to copy. Let's see. I copy only this here. The fit class fit, and here I will delete this to class. So I have this fit, so I can call it in the form material, and I don't have a required parameter, so I can call it, and let's see, require current user. Okay, current user. Let's see in this current user. Oh, I see. The current user we got from the static data in this file here. 0. We we will use that data from user underscore 0, and I need to import the file. We can import it. Okay, I will call it as I mentioned. If you use the Android Studio, it's more easy. You don't need to type by yourself. And this you need to I think data is not undefined. Let's see. Ah, I see the problem. Because the user one is not under the data. I see. I see the error because I not add the as data. If I want to keep this code, I need to like this. It's like a shortcut for call a specific import. If you don't add like this, you have to use like this one. Okay, I like to reverse and add like this. And now we have to import the widget email list. Here is email list view that we already have. So now we need to import it, and yeah, done. So now let's see the UI that for the Flutter we have two for reload the UI. One is hot reload. When you update anything like this one, let's see. Here is the search bar. Let's see. I will update it. Take here. If I just press save, it will reload, and here is updated the value. Or you can run this icon. Here it's gone. Uh, oh, I want to the image doesn't show here because when you add a new file, new resource in the asset folder and already add this, but you need to rerun your project, so I need to stop it first and run it again. So you can run, stop. Yeah. And any question?
If you have any question, feel free to ask Tom. It looks no question yet, so please go ahead, Tom.
Yes, doctor. Now I rerun the project. So now we can see the image is show. So we here is the sample this and here the result. And for this problem, why we have a different color? Because the previous I didn't use the material tree, so now I want to enable the whole material tree. Let's see what the difference between the material tree replace here. This UI this corner round, but now it's update shape update. Now this the style of the button also. You can see what the difference when I command it here. See, here is a material tool, and this one this one is material 3, the new version of UI that Google just announced for the new Android version, and they create a new version for specifically for web and desktop UI also. The previous material tool for mobile experience only, but now they want to move on the web experience and desktop experience for you. So let's next in this step. Now we will add the navigation bar. As you see on the slide, we have the drawer navigation bar here. And when we resize it in the mobile screen, we will see the bottom navigation bar. So it's a responsive, adaptive based on device and screen size. So it's required to create destination file on that. Let's see. We create it. Then dot that, and I copy the code. This file is like this is the same as a model that we handle the data. When we want to use the some type or some kind of data that you want to render into the UI, you have to create this class, and here's a static data that require icon widgets and label for the menu. And now we have to add the navigation bar in the main file. Here, let's see. For the navigation bar here, you need call the bottom navigation bar in the scaffold widget. Let's see. Here is the scaffold widget. As I presentation previous slide, the scaffold widget also have a property bottom navigation bar here. So when you add the bottom navigation widget, it will show the bottom menu mobile screen, like a iOS or Android. That I pass the code here. And for the bottom navigation bar, it needs to select by default. It means which index you want to install. and tell them to show. It's mean pre-selected item. So we need to create the local value. Yes. And I want to share the index 0 for initial value. And for this, when we click on the icon, it will refresh the index. And when it's refresh the index, the menu UI will be changed. So now I need to import the list of menu. Here, now I refresh. You will see it should, yeah. When we click it here, see it selected different UI. It's if I click it, it's become a index one, and now I let me refresh it, and it's become a 0 because the initial value I set to 0. So now the container also they suggest us to add the body. Let's let's copy the body code. Okay, the body here. Yeah, now the body is updated. So I email list here. It selected also. This animation will be changed because I use the same value. I will create a new one. Like I use the number 1 0. So this value I use 1 also. Yeah. So now I have two initial value different. So now it's not like before. I click it, the list image doesn't change. So now move to the next step. Here is the result, the same as we run the demo. Next step is we have to add the navigation barrow. Then this navigation barrow is should be here, this menu. It will flexible based on size screen. So we need to create another file widget inside the widget folder. You can create it anywhere that you like. But I create it here and let's see. Then copy this widget inside this. And now we didn't call it into the main file. So now let's see the next step. We need to have another widget disappearing navigation row. It means it will detect it when the UI need to show the navigation as a desktop experience. When the UI need to render the uh, navigation button for the mobile experience. Let's see, we create another widget. Oh, I see. Let's um, disappearing. Okay, a different name. Dot. So this code here, the UI doesn't change yet. Let's see. I next we will use to this widget in the main file. Now before we need before we can use the widget, we need to import the the class into the main file, or you can import it later. Let's see what is why it's error because the widget we doesn't have as yeah. The blue, the underline blue is mean the import doesn't use in the file, but we will use in we will use it soon. And here they tell us to add another initial value while screen. It means uh, when the screen as a desktop or the screen is become a true. Here we have to add this value, and we have to modify the scaffold. Now we have to modify the body. The body will check which screen that the UI should show the drawer menu or bottom menu, or like which screen that they show the panel UI, or you need to click to get view info. Now I want to modify the body first. I see. Maybe I copy only. Oh, I see. The body. What is the body? Uh, it doesn't change anything yet. But let's see. For the floating, also it's mean it's bar screen. The UI doesn't show the floating action button, but when it become a small screen size like a mobile phone, it will have this UI. So we have to modify this widget. Okay, now we have to modify already, and next we need to modify the bottom navigation bar to check which UI that we want to show the navigation bar, or which UI we want to show the drawer windows. Now I think is yeah. Let's see, the output is not coming yet, and let's see what is we missing. We miss the on the chain dependency. Yeah, because this function will be update with screen for you. This function will check if screen size greater than 600 pixel, white screen will become a true. It's width smaller than 600 pixel, white screen become a file. Here we need to add the independency, the chain dependency. Yeah. So currently it should be work. Yeah. Here, when we resize the screen too small, we will see the button. When the very side, we will see here this menu, and the floating come here. When we resize small, floating here. Yeah. Let's move to the next step. Here is the result that I just show you. The next step is the animate transition. It is mean when we resize this. Here is no transition animation. It means when the screen small, hide this raw menu and immediately show the bottom menu. It doesn't have any transition animation. So now the tutorial want to teach us how to write a transition animation. We need to create an animation that, and here is the code for the transition. You can copy and paste and try it here. So now we need to use the transition, but before the use, they suggest us to create a new file like that inside the transition folder. Yeah, let's see. I don't want to create any folder. I just create a file outside and copy the code and paste. Uh, so the animation and the bottom bar. So I need to delete it because the file are the same hierarchy in the folder. And next we need to create another. I would like to create outside the same level as the main file. Yes. If you want to organize your code better, structure code, you can create a separate folder. Like they suggest us to create a folder transition. Uh, all the code in the folder for the transition animation. So it's now raw here. I have to delete it because it's the same level. Yeah, yeah, okay. So next, they need us to modify the existing code, which is inside the disappearing bottom animation, bottom navigation. Now they suggest us to add this and this file. So let's add, let's modify it. Modify in the disappearing widget. Yeah, disappearing bottom navigation bar. Here we have to update it, and destination also doesn't have dot. I see. We need to exit the outside the folder widget and go to this file. So that's why we have to add this. And for we don't have the transition folder, so I delete it. Here's two lines that we need to modify. And next, for the parameter that require, we need to add more require parameter. Like this one. And so if we set it to the final, it means we need to add into the as a parameter this dot var, and it doesn't have a question mark as a nullable set now safety, so it means it's required here. So next, the code we need to modify is the return inside the beer widget. So I need to modify this code line. Make It means the previous one. You can see here the navigation bar still here, but we need to wrap this widget. So I need to modify the widget like this. So next we need to modify the disappearing navigation. I think to save more time, I think to copy all the file. I don't want to spend too much on copy line by line. So we have one error. Which line is error? Yeah, we had a because the previous one, this file doesn't have require this parameter, but now it have, so it requires to add a parameter in this class. So here I need to over modify the code in the widget folder. Disappearing navigation row. Yeah, I need to modify it all, and let's see the imported correct. And we don't have as you know floating animation. We need to, yeah, we need to create a new file like that for the floating animation inside the widget folder also. So now I copy the code. Yeah, so let's go it. Yes, the error is gone. And next we still have the error at the main file because this parameter now are require the bar animation. So let's see the next step. Here we need to add the widget animation floating. Let's see later. They they suggest they give us to add this line into the main file in class fit. So let's see here. And next, we had to add this, and here remove the var screen. It means they start to update the code, and then just remove the var screen and add this. I don't want to remove, I just add the command. And now we have to modify the chain dependency that I explained you previously. It's the text size screen, but that function doesn't have an animation transition. So I want to copy the whole thing and pass here. And wait, I want to keep this line. I want to keep this line, so I just copy the new code. I want you to see the different previous code and current code. The previous code, they only updated without animation. The current code, uh, we updated, and we also have animation status for transition UI. Now, when we have animation, when we have some widget that have listener, we need to dispose or destroy it before we left the layout or go to the next screen. So that's why we need to call the dispose function to dispose the controller animation. If we don't dispose it, the controller still run in background sometimes. Sometimes they have a dispose by default. So for the prevent error or crash application, we need to dispose it before the screen was destroyed. So now we have to modify the in the build widget. I think it's to modify it all here because now we start to we doesn't have wide screen anymore and disappearing uh, updated also. So I want to update the whole here and let's see the error because because I didn't import it the library yet, so I need to import the file floating animation, and now I need to import the animation transition. Okay, and now for this I need to fix it by, let's see, the class here. We need to add this extend width, the previous one. Let's see the previous and updated. Let's here. Here's previous is all code, and I command it because we need to modify, and here's new. What a difference is we need to add a trigger provider. It means when we use the animation controller, we need to use this one to make a stateful become a more powerful for the dynamic UI. So now we almost done. Now we move to the next point. We have only one more point. We will success and finish the demonstration. We need to create another UI. That you see every component UI we add into the widget folder. That just kind of organize the code that can call a pattern or something that you call that okay. And next they in the transition add list detail transition. Okay, we have to add new one, list dot. We should this. So now let's copy it quickly here, and let's see what a different or doesn't change yet. Okay, it doesn't change anything yet. Let's see the next. Did you just see the bottom bar is pop up from the downstairs here? You see, it run from bottom to top. Now we have to modify the last file, I think. Yeah. I think we need to modify extend here. I think go to the top first. Okay, it's only import the file. So I need go to the update code. Here, add the body role extend container. Okay, let's go to see the body in main file. Is the body is a role, and we need to modify this widget. correct or not? Let's see. Okay. So now we need to import the class. We also can do both of this. It's working fine. We need to import another. Let's see, I import another format here. We also can call only directory, or we call it from the package project in root the project. You can call like this or like this, the same. Now we have to modify, and that's it. I think the code is finished. Let's see the result. See, you see the detail screen is become a transition. I think maybe my computer start slow, so maybe didn't see the animation bar. But if you run it by yourself, you will see the animation of UI. Uh, the purpose that we want to add the animation transition into the UI because we want user to get a better experience and get more attention from audience. If your UI doesn't have any animation or transition, user will be used if your application useful for them, but they not enjoy while using it. The animation and transition is just for fun and make user happy and enjoy to use your app. And now, congratulations, we finished the project like this one. So I think I should finish the two more slides before we break and move to the another section, question and answer. And next, maybe Dr. Ye will have another lecture course also. Um, Then I start the presentation. You get some idea what is Flutter, how the Flutter run and build and render the UI, how the Flutter can do for you. And now let's move to the roadmap that's important if you want to get started your journey career with the Flutter framework. Is the you go to the download this PDF. This PDF I just crop some part only. I cannot insert this slide the full roadmap. This roadmap also good. You can see when you get start to learn the Flutter, you need to learn the basic that it try. When you want to learn any framework, you need to know what language the framework use, and you have to knowledge with that language. And after you know some, you can continue and learn it later while you studying the framework. And also this roadmap you can skip based on the purple check, green check, or gray check, or not check. Some important, some are not, but some is not in the Flutter framework, but it related, like this Git is the version control. We know uh, our IC the programmer, we need Git to control the code and work as a collaboration with team. And also we need to know the JSON storyline. What is the JSON storyline? The JSON storyline is mean like this. This model. When we ask a JSON, we need this type of model to handle the data for render in the UI. And let's see. Uh, and we have to know more about WebSocket based on your scope project. Uh, that's everything in this is not required. It's based on scope and requirement of your project, what you're doing, and so you need to understand it. Next is the resource that you can learn more and get started your journey. And for this, I think it's the document and open source code that you can find, and you can learn as a daily from the channel YouTube official Flutter, or you can explore in the pub.dev. In the pub.dev, they have uh, too many library for you. Yeah, pub.dev. They also have a library UI library package for handle the data or something. They have the trick one you can find the I give one trick for you. When you say the for I think it's the yeah. If you don't want to use the library, you can go to the GitHub directly and clone this project uh, and copy into your project folder. If you want to keep the same version forever, but if you want to up to date with the library, you need to copy this one and add into the prospect.yaml here. Here is the place that you have to. Oh, I wrong at the wrong place. Here, the dependency. Under dependency, you can add the library that you want to use here, and after you add, you can run a command to refresh project laptop, or some ID it's automatically run for you, like you said previously. It automatically get the package for you. And here is the website that I already show you before for generate to get the Flutter code as a custom pane for the UI. And you can you can create animation like a game animation or onboarding animation that you have some interaction with. You also can create it from Rai. This project also announced in the Flutter Forward this year by Google also invite the co-founder of Rai to introduce their product. Here, every what we can do with Rai with Flutter, we can create a rating animation. We can create emoji animation using Rai and import it into our project and enjoy the animation. As I tell you, app without animation, it's like doesn't nice. And one last thing I want you to know the Flutter flow. If you don't want to create the project from scratch by yourself, you can use the Flutter flow, but it's not free. The Flutter flow is the product that you can drag drop a widget and export code as a Flutter. And every single line of code is Flutter, not a Canvas UI. And this product also useful for uh, who that helps basic knowledge with web or UX UI design, but they want to move on and grow a skill as a web developer or mobile developer. They can use the Flutter Flow design and export into the real application. The Flutter Flow also integrate with Firebase, and they have a future plan for update also. And that's all for my sharing today. I hope you got some idea to get started with the Flutter. Thank you.
Tong, did I miss your
Oh,
project
I
introduction?
forgot.
It's okay, it's okay. So later we can also make a break time for you.
Yeah.
And first of all, are there any questions, comment to Tom? If it is, feel free to ask to Tom. Hello, audience. Are there any questions, comment? So Tom, I also want to know. I have one question. Actually, I have several questions, but let's start with the one question. Can you
Mm,
hear me, Tom?
yeah, doctor, I can hear you well.
So how about the documentation within the Flutter? So let's say in Python, we have a Sun library to automatically create a documentation or help for the users related to the code. So how about the Flutter? Are there any documentation library or tools? If it is, let me know.
Oh, you mean the document for code, right? Or user manual?
Yeah, so when we write a code, so we can create a kind of library information automatically, right?
Oh, I see. For this Flutter is I don't know they have or not. Because I never hear they mention about document generated yet. Yeah,
Oh,
I
maybe they must have. I think yeah, they must have.
for this one I didn't know yet.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you got my question, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, yeah,
I got it because the other framework also have a generated document as the
yeah, yeah,
API.
yeah,
When we generate, we can understand which route, what parameter we use. Yeah.
yeah. Right, right. So how about others from the audience, from ITC side and from LU Lab also?
And everyone, if you want, I recommend you to try at least one more time. You will get some point and get more interesting because the Flutter is portable uh, to any platform and build faster UI for you. You don't need to spend more time to build UI. It fast for you. And now I will run as the Mac application for you.
Tom, how about the compare with native code writing, like so like others, Flutter I haven't tried yet actually. I did some mobile development, but a little bit long time ago. But according to my experience, when we use the Flash or something, HTML based code, when we compare with native code like iOS native code and Android native code, is delay, right? But for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Flutter, I think they converted to the native code with their compiler, right?
yeah.
So it's not affect for the runtime or speed, right?
Yeah. They mention for the Android it's completely close to the native code because you know that the same company, the Google, found Android and
Yeah,
Flutter.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and and for the iOS, I read the performance for them around 99%.
Oh,
Uh, be,
very
be,
good.
be, yeah, because the other 1%, when the iOS have a new UI or updated version, the Flutter team have to follow up when the beta release. So if the Flutter team are late, we have some problem with junk UI or deleted UI or crashed bug. Currently, I think the Flutter team also have the collaboration with iOS.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So for generally, what I understand is for for Android is Flutter is perfect, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, under the same company or same organization. Yeah. Okay, let's take a break for 10 minutes or something. After that, we can. Or you wanna keep continue? I think
yeah.
we should take
Let
a little bit break,
break.
right?
Yeah, take a break.
Okay. So let's take a 10-minute break, and then I think you will introduce a real project that you work some, right? So to get
Yeah,
some
yeah,
knowledge. That will be more, yeah, better.
yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. So let's make a 10-minute break.